Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphanlast, and today we're going to go ahead and introduce the 51 Animation Challenges series. Okay, so right here is a website that I'm fairly interested in. It says 51 Great Animation Exercises, right? Alright, so this is some cool stuff. So I'm going to have a link to this inside of the video description of this video. And so if we go to exercise level 1, little challenges, I guess. The first challenge is the bouncing ball in place with no decay, and then the second one, bouncing ball across the screen. Now YouTube has no shortage of these little animations, but these are the sorts of things that you should start out with if you're starting to learn how to animate. Now, although there's a good amount about opentoonz that I do understand, excuse me, animation itself is still fairly new to me. And so I feel like these are all the sorts of things that I should learn, that you should learn, in order to get better. Okay, so as we continue down through exercise level 1, we can see a character thinking. Okay, how do you animate a character thinking? Sack of flour looping. Now some of these are listed as a link. We can go ahead and open it up and take a look at what it has to say and what it has to offer. So basically you treat a sack of flour like a little cartoon character, and let's see, it looks like it doesn't have an actual animation to represent basically that exercise, but it has plenty of reading material for you. Simple character head turn, let's take a look at that. Okay, now when you're dealing with a head turn, you're not just, it's not like the bouncing ball. Throughout the whole time that you're animating a bouncing ball, if you're doing it through traditional animation, just each frame is hand-drawn, the thing that you mostly need to keep in mind is keeping the same size. You need to make sure that the size of the ball doesn't get bigger or smaller, or that it loses its volume, because as an object moves, it gets a sense of squash and stretch. And so you need to make sure that it keeps the same volume. But with a character head turn, you have to kind of focus on something like the changing geometry, which in this case is his eyes, his nose, and his mouth. And it, like, that changes. So that's something I'm interested in. A character blinking, sack of flour falling. Let's take a look at that. Alright, and it has absolutely no examples. So, and as it continues on, it gets more and more progressively difficult. So let's go into the level 4 exercises. Character eating a cupcake. Object falling into a body of water. Now that's interesting. Water is difficult to animate, so let's take a look at that. Okay, well, there you have it. That's pretty cool. That's a good little example to go by. A single piece of paper dropping through the air. Run across the screen with change in direction. So basically having a character change direction while he's running. Run across the screen. Let's see. Opening a cupboard and removing something inside. Putting on a pair of pants. I think I would more so do putting on a shirt, because having a character that has no pants may not be appropriate. Alright, so I mean, I've already shown that I can animate some stuff. For example, I created this animation, and him arcing upward and doing the punch. I don't know why my computer's doing this lagging sensation, but there's a few criticisms that some more professional animators have criticized. They say that they don't understand why he's bouncing up and down, and I could say it's because he's laughing, but you know, that's not really much of an excuse. If someone doesn't understand why a character is moving the way that they do, then it's your mistake. No amount of like, you shouldn't have to explain it. They also say that there's a little bit of popping involved, which I'm assuming that means like, let me take a look here. If I can just scroll through here a little bit. Okay, so for some, okay, see that? Like the look at his armpit and the way that see how that just transforms suddenly. There's all of a sudden less detail, then more detail, and it makes no sense. And so this is like something that I was criticizing it as I was doing it. Now notice how there's a sudden transformation from this pose to this pose. So I should have had a little bit more of a transition, maybe one more frame worth of information showing that. So there is area of improvement for me. So let's go ahead and create a new project, and I'm going to go ahead and go File, New Project, and I'm going to call this 51 Animation Exercises. Okay, I'm going to press OK, and we can see it where? Okay, project. Okay, 51 animation projects. We can see that it is the active project because the red dot is on there. If I want to change my project, I click on the circle to change that. And wherever that red dot is, that's where your scenes, all of your levels are going to be saved. So if I was animating something inside of 51 animation exercises, and then midway through I went into the browser and clicked it here, and then continued animating with what's inside of 51 animation exercises, and then I go File, Save All, it's going to save half of the animation, half of the stuff that I'm working on inside of 51 animation exercises, and all the stuff that I animated since putting the red dot on this right here, this specific project, it would wind up saving the other half inside of this project. We don't want that, okay? We want to keep our files nice, neat, and organized. So 51 animation exercises is currently active. I'm going to go File, Save Scene or something, or New Scene. Let me see if I can find it here. New Scene right there. Click that. And that's interesting. It just created a new scene, but it didn't let me save it. So let's see. Save Scene. Save Scene, Save Scene. Okay, I'm blind. It's right here. So Save Scene As, or Save Scene. I'm just going to go Save Scene. Okay, right here I'm going to go Bouncing Ball No Decay. Okay, and so now we have it. And for some reason I already have 2 levels. Let me go into the browser, go into the drawings. Yeah, I don't understand why that's there like that, but oh well. So that pretty much concludes it for this video and the introduction of the 51 animation exercises video series that I'm going to be working on. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and if you didn't like it, please like, share, and subscribe anyways.